We have massive news confirmed. Tesla's FSD supervised V12.4.3 is now starting to roll out to some early access Tesla owners who are not employees in the US, and 12.3.3 was the big one, so maybe 12.4.3 is going to be a big one too. And I have seen quite a few people actually getting it. The rollout actually started on Friday, so by now we should have a pretty good idea of how it works and how good it is. Dave Lee said that the previous build had some quirks and it was a bit too cautious, but I saw his initial review and it seems pretty good. On the first day, Omar said that all of his drives were zero interventions on this new build. Omar goes as far as to say that this version drives as a professional chauffeur. It executes many maneuvers more smoothly than a human could and can often react to road hazards before the human driver even notices them. And he predicts that it will go wide to all of us. I still don't have this version though. From everything that James gathered, he says that this new build has very good ride quality. It's smooth. It's still capable of zero intervention drives, of course, and from what I observed, it's better, but it still makes mistakes. But James can be a bit too skeptical. Check this out. Dave Lee said that he probably had the best FSD ride so far on this new build. He made a pretty detailed post reviewing it. By the way, this is a new channel. Later, all the videos on here will be political and all the Tesla videos will be back on a Tesla channel. This is just temporary to get some momentum. So subscribe right now if you would like to see political videos later. This is after a few hours with this new version, and overall, he does confirm that it feels like a better build compared to the 12.3.6 version. I'm not going to say it's crazy better, but I would say it's better. There's still a lot of room to go where I think FSD needs to match the level of an average human in terms of the confidence and time it takes to take a right turn onto oncoming traffic. And he says this version is not here yet, but it's getting there. It's improved. Some of the quirks have been fixed. For example, on 12.3.6, I had this quirk where my car, before changing the lane, it sort of goes to the right lane, but it doesn't really cross the line separating the lanes. It's sort of like it's trying to warn people behind, hey, look, I'm going to make this turn, so give me space. I'm warning you, this was a warning, but now I'm actually going to turn. And Dave has the exact same experience, and this seems to have been greatly improved now. To me personally, it wasn't really a big issue. It just like a weird thing it would do. It doesn't really create some unsafe situations, but overall that quirk has been greatly improved in this build, and lane selection seems to be quite a bit better. And check this out, overall there's something about this new build that just made the 2 hours of driving much better than V12.3.6 for me. It felt like an upgraded driver, more confident, less hesitant. I didn't need to press or tap the accelerator pedal as often. I just let it do its thing. And compared to the previous 12.4 builds, this one, Lee says, is leaps and bounds better in terms of not having weird quirks. So that's a very positive review from Dave Lee. Let's check out other people. Here's someone getting really excited. FSD 12.4.3 is incredible. I just had 2 total intervention-free, hands-free drives. It is so smooth, hesitation is non-existent, totally confident. I literally don't have a single complaint or criticism. Amazing work, he says to the team of FSD. Is it 5 times better than 12.3.6 as promised? At least, if not more, he says. Wow. He's driving in a rural area though. Omar just posting one drive after another, no interventions on this newest version. So many of them. Here's an interesting maneuver. This version seems to contemplate passing this car that pulled out in front of it without slowing down or even using a turn signal. So this sort of gives us a strong signal that indeed it is trained on human data, because this feels like something most people would actually do. AI driver says that it made the smoothest U-turn he has ever seen. The wheel goes to full lock and stays there until turn is complete. And here it quickly reacts to an oblivious driver. Ooh. Okay. Good. Very good. And this seems to be pretty smooth. It shoots through this narrow gap in traffic. All right. And it goes once it sees that it is clear to go. By the way, Elon just crushed some big rumors here. The rumor is that Elon hired Uber's founder, Travis Kalanick, to advise or potentially run Tesla's upcoming robotaxi division. Elon personally said this is false, so don't expect anything special there. Wall Street, though, would have probably loved this rumor coming to actual fruition. Elon just commented here, all that matters is improving Tesla's self-driving AI such that miles between interventions is basically greater than human. And it is definitely trending sharply in that direction for those who aren't paying attention. This was Elon's reply to, if this rumor becomes true, then Tesla's stock would easily surpass $400 after August 8th. Easily. This was about that Uber founder rumor. AI driver shared his honest opinions after the first few drives. You might not like my impressions, he says, and he apologizes in advance. This version feels truly unleashed and is driving more like a human than ever. I saw an instance that seriously looked a little like road rage when it got cut off. Wow. I would certainly expect some more polishment in the future versions, but is that really a very bad thing? I mean, that doesn't sound exactly great, but I do wonder how bad was it actually. AI driver said he would post a video showing it, but I couldn't find it. Speed control has gone a step back with auto speed. It's speeding through my neighborhood again. 38 miles in a 25 zone. It got stuck at 2 different stop signs and refused to move forward with no traffic around. It occasionally accelerates really hard when you first activate it. I never had this happen with 12.4.2. Reaction times during unexpected events seem to be faster. I don't know if I'm imagining things, but it seems like it's really quick on the steering and braking inputs. It's absolutely insane how different 1. Update feels. Truly feels like a completely different AI driving model. I don't know how they're tuning it in the background, but it's making a big difference. And he has some doubts whether it will be released to the public. But there are also some major improvements. So you can see in the navigation that it was telling the vehicle to go straight and then later do a U-turn, but instead it ignores this navigation route and it just turns left here, making it much better overall for the driver. Here's some feedback from the Dirty Tesla account. Some examples of 12.4.3 erratic speed control when either accelerating from a stop or changing speed zones. There's not much consistency besides the fact speed is slightly unpredictable. Here's another person with this FSD version loving it. He had a flawless experience. And here's a good example of someone that demonstrates how to sell Teslas and how they will be sold in the future. Just broke my friend's kid's brain with FSD. I was telling him about FSD and he was literally arguing with me over what it could do. I was like, dude, this is my car. I know more than you. His kids asked for a ride and we all went. His son randomly picked a friend's house. I backed out of his driveway, pressed the button to engage FSD, held my hands up and just answered amazed questions during the whole drive. Definitely a bit of a crow was eaten. Also, his oldest said, Dad, I want a Tesla the second we got it home. So far, it seems like about 1% of the whole fleet in North America has this latest FSD version. Gary Black just updated his Tesla stock price target, but just on May 26th, he was saying the majors in the auto industry have always copied every major innovation off each other, implying that FSD is not really going to be something that's super special for Tesla. So Stephen Mark Ryan provided a guide how to copy FSD in one easy step. Press the magic catch up to Tesla button, which instantly puts 6 million robots on roads collecting data, builds huge supercomputer clusters, clones Tesla's existing data, an AI team puts Tesla out of business so they can't overtake you. So easy. Which is obviously the strategy which all automotive companies are pursuing right now, which is why they have not manually taken any of the steps needed to catch up. They obviously know there's a magic button they can press to instantly do all the things they would have needed to start 10 years ago. So what has changed? Gary Black has just increased his price target to $270 from $200. I said that he's either going to sell more Tesla stock or he has to increase his Tesla stock price target, but he made some pretty bullish posts earlier, so it seemed more likely that he would just increase his Tesla stock price target. But what changed exactly? He increased his earnings estimates for 2024 by 20 cents per share. He also increased his volume forecast. His 2030 adjusted EPS is now at $15. Wall Street is at 12. His earlier EPS was at $14.50. He assumes energy gross profits will grow 10 times from 2023 to 2030. That does sound a bit conservative because the energy energy business just in the second quarter grew so much, and he's doing a 10x from 2023, not from 2024. 2024 is going to be quite a bit more. So he's not saying that Tesla's energy business is going to grow 10 times from where it is right now until 2030. At most, he's saying it's going to 5x, and he still assumes no incremental value for Robotaxi or Optimus, and he calls it ultra conservative, so he leaves quite a bit of room for himself to increase his Tesla stock price target later. Gary Vlad predicts that Tesla stock in 2030 is only going to be $563. That is way too low. Omar is increasing his price target to $420. It's a bit hard to say if he's actually serious or not. And this just shows you typical thinking from Wall Street. There are no working models yet of unsupervised Robotaxi or Optimus that one can compare to competitors' offerings or to assess regulators' approval timing. So therefore, no value is put on Robotaxi for Tesla. This gives us a huge buying opportunity really in the long term, because institutions and Wall Street, they're not taking Robotaxi seriously. Gary Vlad before said that FSD would have to do 99.9% of the driving for him to start taking FSD basically seriously. Well, already we have people who post drives where 99.3% of the driving is done by FSD, and some bears are still calling this a scam, a fraud, and a lie. But it's getting better. If you wait until it actually works, it's going to be too late to get into the stock. You have to think ahead. Omar hopes to see FSD launching in at least one additional country before the end of the year. Ideally, China would be the best, which is certainly possible, especially with the Chinese government being a bit more excited about Tesla. Several Chinese state firms have recently purchased Tesla Model Ys as service cars. Imagine the US government buying BYD cars. It would be a big deal, and that's why this is a big deal. Speaking of new markets, India doesn't expect Tesla to move forward with an investment in the country anytime soon after executives at the company stopped contacting them, according to Bloomberg. There's a good chance that some of these people simply just got laid off, and also Tesla maybe doesn't have that much interest in expanding into India at the moment. The most important thing right now is for Tesla to make FSD better, and that's where Elon's focus is at. And Elon is clearly spending some time at Giga Texas, specifically looking at that computer cluster that Tesla is building.
Hey everyone, happy July 4th. Fireworks in the background. Just here at Tesla Gigafactory. We're finalizing the construction of the supercomputer cluster here, which is at the south extension, and we hopefully will have this online in a few months.
Tesla's Tom Zhu, who is the most important person in China for Tesla, he briefed the Chinese premier, which is basically the second most important political person in China, on Tesla's FSD, the latest tech developments, and Tesla China at the World AI Conference. There's some drama going on in the Tesla community. Bradford Ferguson says many bulls got offsides to the point of selling a large percentage of shares under $200. Meet Kevin, Ross Gerber, Gary Black, even Warren Redlick. Many followers followed and trimmed or strongly considered trimming. I think most of this move is bull whiplash. Warren, though, didn't sell that much, and he has bought back at a slightly higher price. People who sold lower are suddenly buying back at higher prices after the uncertainty of the vote, and now earnings appears to have bottomed. I warn folks that when uncertainty resolves, typically stocks go higher. We are definitely seeing that right now with Tesla. However, he continues, we do not suddenly believe Tesla will moon without huge backup from earnings. People who say this are riding the bandwagon emotions and are prone to get run over when the bull herd gets spooked again. So this is where drama starts. Gary Black fires back. This is pure BS, Brad. We didn't trim Tesla in front of the shareholder vote. We cut our Tesla position from September 2022 through early 2024 out of concern the continuous price cuts would destroy Tesla earnings power, which happened. And check this out. This seems to be a deleted post from Gary Black, but someone took a screenshot. Gary said we should have sold our entire Tesla position, then kept a small percentage of it. You won't believe when this was posted on April 20th, which was Saturday. A day before that, Tesla stock was at $147, and when it opened on Monday, that was when we reached the low this year, $142. So that was precise timing at the bottom. So far though, year to date, Gary's fund is outperforming Tesla's stock. Someone asked what his returns were year to date. I don't think these year to date returns matter at all. I want to see 5 5-year returns. We don't have data of 5 years, though, for Gary's fund. We only have about 3 years. However, when we compare basically the same time period of Tesla stock to Gary's fund, Tesla stock, despite having a wild last few years, is actually outperforming Gary's fund as of this moment. But with Tesla stock being so volatile, that can flip and change. But I think if you look at the next 5-10 years, Tesla stock will outperform pretty much every fund out there. Because Tesla stock kept going up, ARK Invest sold a bit more Tesla stock. Generally, they don't like having more than 10% in one given stock. So that's why she sold, and she might sell again, especially if Tesla stock goes up a little bit more. Not really a surprise there. Oh, and there are quite a few people like this. Brad posted a message. I need your help. I panic sold at 175. Will there be a chance to enter sub 200 in the future? I am struggling to understand what to do. If someone is struggling to understand what to do, they shouldn't be in Tesla stock. Overall, to reduce one's risk, if you're investing in Tesla stock with a plan to hold for less than 5 years, I think you are increasing your risk by a lot. If you can hold up to 10 years, I think you are decreasing your risk by a lot, because you look at Elon Musk's track record and eventually he just gets it. He makes it happen. But in a span of a few years, so many things can go wrong. Unplanned things, unexpected things, pandemics, wars, bad things. But in the long term, what matters is how good is the team, how good is the leader, is the company making the right strategic choices. And I believe Elon Musk definitely is making these good choices. And the dip was glorious because it transferred ownership of the company from those who don't believe in the team to those who do. But there's a conversation, why is the stock going up? Who exactly is buying? This investor is suggesting that the move up is not coming from retail. A 6% move the day before an expectation beating delivery result, that literally can't be retail. It has to be money with access to different information. It seems obvious some very large institutions have fundamentally changed their narrative about Tesla and are buying aggressively. I don't know if they saw an Optimus demo, they had a private dinner with someone close to Elon and learned more about FSD, but someone knows something. Omar's take is that it's not retail. Subject matter experts in AI are looking at their business and doing the math, and hedge funds and VCs are positioning themselves appropriately. I personally think it's a combination of retail and these VCs and people that understand AI, and maybe someone did have a dinner or two with someone close to Elon. I think things are adding up. I don't think it's just one thing. By the way, do you remember these attorneys that asked for $5 billion? Well, at current Tesla stock prices, if the judge approves what they are asking for, they would not be granted $5 billion, they would be granted $7.6 billion. That whole thing is just so messed up. But we have some good news in the case. The court acknowledged having received our letter in support of Tesla's motion. The Exhibit C is not public yet, but you all know that this is our letter. It is on behalf of 8,000 Tesla shareholders. It will have some impact on the case, I believe. This is good. European Union inspectors visited Tesla Giga Shanghai to determine individual duty rates for the company amid Europe's provisional tariffs on electric vehicle imports from China. Tesla's tariff rate was set to 20.8%, but maybe after this inspection it will go lower. So this is actually good. Check this out. Tesla China is hiring several positions for its Megapack energy storage business, and these jobs are marked as urgent. Seems like progress is indeed being made quickly over there, so that's good news to us. And by the way, if these Chinese tariffs are not lowered for Tesla and remain at 20%, don't worry, because Tesla did receive these approvals from Berlin to expand its factory, so it wouldn't really be a problem. And from time to time, I see people accuse Elon of breaking so many promises. For example, one thing was, at the unveil, Elon, you promised that the Model 3 would be $35,000, but instead, in the beginning, it costs a lot more than that. But 7 years later now, Model 3 long range starts at $35,000 after the federal tax credit, and the car is substantially better compared to what was unveiled at first. And remember that we had a lot of inflation since then, so even if you don't include the federal tax credit, if you consider all of the inflation that we had up until now, I think Elon delivered on his promise. eventually. And the same thing will happen with FSD too. But as far as Tesla stock sentiment goes, don't be surprised if the sentiment later quickly turns around and we drop a lot again. At some point, it will inevitably happen. It's just a question of, will it happen from where we are right now, or will it happen from $400 or $500 or $600 per share? But it will happen. I just sometimes see people seeing the stock go up and then they think it will keep going up forever. But with Tesla stock, one thing is certain. There is a lot of volatility and it goes up or down, but it doesn't stay flat. This could be totally wrong, but I think the chance is much higher that we go to $300 or $200 instead of just staying at $250 for an extended period of time. Also, a big shout out goes to Peggy. Literally 6 months ago, everyone was crapping on me for having an unrealistic Tesla price target of $350 for 2024, but now everyone is crapping on me for being bearish for having a price target of $350. Bradford did an interesting poll. In 2024, did you sell or short Tesla below $200 per share? Most of his followers didn't. 84.6%. I didn't. I bought, not sold Tesla stock this year. On the other hand, another way to look at this is to say, well, if you sold Tesla stock, you probably are not going to admit it here, although this is anonymous, so I don't think it should be that big of a problem. And Bradford actually thinks that the percentage is not low. It's pretty high, even though it's just 12%. But that 12%, in terms of selling power, that can be quite a bit of pressure on Tesla stock. Anyway, the lesson here is don't bet against Elon, especially when he's focused on Tesla, which now I believe he is. Gary Black says, I've long argued that to get Tesla institutional investors to attach a value to Tesla's AI efforts, Tesla should break out AI as a separate line item with relevant metrics in their financial statements, in the same way Tesla breaks out automotive, energy, and services today. When I asked Tesla about this in February as part of a small institutional group meeting sponsored by Baird, we were told Tesla would break out AI separately when AI is material from a revenue standpoint. But what is material exactly? Energy is at $7.5 billion annualized revenue, which makes up about 8% of Tesla revenues today. Gary predicts that Tesla would have to generate about $1 billion in revenue or more, so 1% of total revenue, from FSD for Tesla to break it out separately. Now, Omar thinks that FSD already is at $1 to $3 billion per year, but there are a lot of accounting things that you have to take into consideration. Keep in mind, on current FSD purchases in North America and Europe, Tesla accountants only let Tesla recognize as revenue 50% of the purchase price. We assume a 12.5% take rate, exclude China since they are still just testing FSD, assume 50% purchase, 50% subscription, multiply it out, and Gary gets $1 billion per year in annualized revenue. And the moment Tesla starts breaking this out, all of the institutions and Wall Street analysts, they have to take it into consideration, because maybe now they don't have the line specifically for FSD or AI for Tesla, but now they really would have to do it. They would be forced to have it. So this could be another big catalyst for Tesla. Oh, and Gary has an interesting point about this. While Elon denied that the founder of Uber is not going to be hired for Tesla's robotaxi business or an Uber competitor, him denying that still doesn't preclude the Uber founder from going on the Tesla board. I don't see it as very likely, but there have been some interesting coincidences happening. The CEO of Uber sold 50% of his shares. Elon Musk followed the founder of Uber. And of course, August 8th is coming up very soon. Oh, and check this out. Elon Musk is crying about something. This just came out. Hedge funds piled into short bets against Tesla right before it announced delivery numbers that triggered a 20% stock rally. 18% of the 500 hedge funds tracked by Hazeltree had an overall short position on Tesla at the end of June, the highest percentage in over a year. So according to Bloomberg, Tesla short sellers lost billions of dollars. I like this kind of tier, so I'm gonna like this post. That's it for this video. This channel, by the way, later will be political, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that stuff later. That's just temporary to get some momentum on this channel, and then all of the Tesla videos will be back on a Tesla channel. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.